Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli, and get ready to break out the s'mores, the campfire songs, and everything that comes with going to a go-away sleepover camp. I'm so happy because I've been very excited to learn a little bit more about Camp Southern Ground in Fayetteville, Georgia. With me today, Kimberly Walther, who's the Director of Development. Hi, Kimberly.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And we have Kristen Dabson, who is the Marketing Director for Camp Southern Ground. Hi, Kristen.
Hi.
So thank you, ladies, for coming onto the show. I know as a mom, are you both of you moms?
We are.
We are.
So as a mom, you immediately start thinking, what am I going to do with my 5, 6, 7-year-old? And then they get a little older where they can actually go away to camp and spend the night and be away from home. You have to start thinking about camps relatively early in the year, and we're not even out of 2022. And I hear Camp Southern Ground is looking into 2023. Tell me all about this great camp.
Well, to start, we are, like you said, we're a residential inclusive camp. So we're located in Fayetteville, and we have 8 to 9 sessions every summer, week-long sessions where kids from 7 to 17 come in. So we have teenagers and younger kids, and they come for a week. They spend the whole week there, not talking to their parents, having a great time. And it's inclusive, so we serve a number of different audiences.
So when you say inclusive, are you saying you offer neuro-diversity? So my child who's on the spectrum could go to Camp Southern Ground, but then what other kind of diverse populations are you serving?
So we serve, like you said, neurodiverse kids. We serve neurotypical kids, kind of like typically developing children. We serve kids from military families. And then we serve underserved children, so children from communities that maybe have never had the opportunity to go to a camp. And I think one of the differences with Camp Southern Ground is that when we say inclusive, we really mean like those kids, all those populations are together. They're in what we call a tribe, and they're all integrated, and we work really hard to help make that happen.
Kimberly, would you say that the kids then get a really balanced experience? Because let's say, for instance, you've never been around a neurodiverse child or an underdeserved child. Do you feel like everybody is just, hey, you know what? They're kids. Kids are going to be kids, and they all end up working it out?
Yes, we actually celebrate diversity, and our goal is always to have each child find their unique strength and their gift and celebrate that, and celebrate the idea that what is different about us makes us unique. And so kids are learning empathy. They are experiencing what someone else is going through. They're finding other kids who they may not have met before who also are experiencing the same type of situation. So they really get close, and all of our activities are planned so every child can participate. So we don't alter, and we make accommodations, but we don't change programs in order to someone else has to go to a different activity because they can't participate. Everything is inclusive.
That's wonderful because, I know it's so weird. Lyric, my son who's 10, right? He used to ride a bike. When we lived in Colorado, he was on his bike every single day. We moved here to Georgia once, absolutely nothing to do with a bike. And you'd think that he would have fallen off and hurt himself or whatever. He just doesn't want to ride a bike. Now, I know that it has a lot to do with trunk control and things like that. You have to have the core in order to balance. So what do you do for the kids who aren't quite experienced on bikes? Do you really help them? Hey, we are going to teach you how to ride a bike this week, if that's the last thing we do.
We do, and actually we have a great pump track, and we have bikes for all different levels, including those with no pedals, and so it's, the gliding, and our counselors are trained in how to bring them up from just basic bike skills and getting on and balance, and we'll work with them throughout the week. So last summer and this summer, we had an average of 40 children learn to ride a bike in just the 1 week that they were there. So it is a great program.
Kimberly, she just mentioned something about counselors. Tell me, where do you get your counselors from?
Go ahead, Kristen, or I can answer.
Well, of course, it was a little different last year because with COVID restrictions, we didn't have as many. But this year we had, was it 9 to 12 international counselors. So really, we opened it up to, they're welcome from anywhere in the world, really. But we had from Australia, UK, and Wales, and then across the United States. And we get a lot of college students, as well as special needs teachers and Yeah, that are on summer break. And so that, we have returning counselors also, which is nice.
Kristen, do those counselors that are coming who are going to college, let's say for a special therapy or special needs education or whatnot,
Right.
do they get credits that can be applied as for being a counselor with Camp Southern Ground?
They typically do. I mean, each program is different, but we'll do whatever we can. Like, I've written letters of recommendation. We'll do whatever we can to help them be able to use that experience moving forward, for sure.
So let's talk a little bit about pricing, because that's what really, the first thing is, can my kid attend? The second thing all parents want to know is, how much does it cost? Because overnight camps are traditionally a little bit on the higher side. And then, of course, we have inflation and everything like that parents are really struggling with. And I noticed on your website, it's a tier pricing program. Can you explain, either one of you, a little bit more about that?
Sure. We do have tiered pricing. So that means that so we go from 1 to 5, and it is the first tier or the fifth tier is considered like paying full price, and then fourth and third tiers are more discounted, and then first and second tiers are significantly subsidized. 90% of our campers get some kind of scholarship. And we really work to make sure that finances are not a reason that a child will not attend camp. So that tier pricing opens, scholarship pricing opens in January for families that might need that.
Is that listed on Camp Southern Ground's website where you can apply for a scholarship? Or when you say scholarship, is it like people using their GCCS money, or what kind of scholarships are parents looking at?
So we have a number of foundations and corporate donors that will provide funding and designate it for a specific population of our campers or just in general. And that helps us provide tuition for those that have filled out the application and based on what tier they've selected or saying that they need full tuition scholarship. And so depending on every year, it changes, of course, how much we get in as from donations. And so, like Kristen said, we never want cost to be a factor why a child cannot attend summer camp. So we will continue to fundraise and reach out and do whatever we can to provide as much tuition assistance to each child so everybody gets that opportunity.
I'm speaking with some ladies here from Camp Southern Ground. I have Kimberly Walther, who is the Director of Development. Hi, once again, Kimberly. And then I have the lovely Kristen Dabson, who is the Marketing Director for Camp Southern Ground. Again, thank you so much for being on the show, ladies.
Of course.
Let's talk a little bit about the camping experience and what campers who have never been away from home can experience there. And then a little bit about the parents and what they can expect. Because for me, I've never let Lyric out of my sight. Sure, he's going to spend the night at a friend's house or a family member's house, but I've never sent him away for a week. I think I might cry. Let's start with the parents. What do you do to ensure that the parents, I guess, sanity midweek is still intact?
I mean, it's a real thing. It really is. So prior to camp, our inclusion directors and our communications coordinator communicate constantly with parents. I mean, they get to know each child and, not just the neurodiverse kids, but each child so well. So they are set up for success, and they know from medications to daily schedules to parent concerns. And I mean, by the time they come here, they first name basis, it's almost like a reunion. But still, it is a lot of time. It's the first time a child has been away, certainly for a week. And so we recognize that, and we work to make sure that there's daily communication, like emails or texts. And then we also make sure that every parent gets a picture of their child every day, having a good time. And usually it's more than one, but, doing something fun at camp. So, and they're welcome to write emails. Parents are allowed to communicate via email, and we print them out and give those to the kids, and they can send a care package if they want. But
I was just going to ask about care packages because, so many kids did you forget that bug spray? Did you forget this? And I'm sure there's a big camping pack list for you and for the campers that they get sent. And so mom and dad have them prepared, but you never know, something gets taken out of the luggage at the end of the day.
For sure.
You need that candy fix. Mom's got you covered, UPS. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what the campers would say. Kimberly, why don't you take this one? What would you say the campers would say is the best part of Camp Southern Ground?
The zip line.
The
By
zip
far,
line.
they love the high ropes and the zip line. And some of them come in and are starting on low ropes. And then by the end, they are climbing all the way to the top. And it is a tribe aspect. So they are helping each other in their tribe get up there. So it's also creating leadership and team building skills as they go up there. But by far, hands down, that is every kid's first answer.
I would think that, yeah, it's a big skill development to not only be on your own and feel like, for any kid, like, oh my gosh, mom and dad aren't here. I know that there's adults here if I needed something, but it really, you have to become self-reliant, right? And that's a skill development that anybody should really get
Right,
and
that
have
confidence.
behind them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that confidence to be able to take on the zip lines and the ropes and to know that your whole tribe is behind you doing that. Wow. So kids start at the lower level, but by the time the week ends, they're on the high courses and doing everything?
Many of them are, yes.
And I would say too, like this is our second year of having an aquatic center. So we have this beautiful pool and Georgia summers are no joke.
Hot.
So yes,
Yeah.
so they're in the pool a lot and they all adore that.
Now, is somebody there helping them? Speaking of pools and outside activities, the bug sprays, the this. Now, for neurotypical children, even on their best day, they forget. And then, of course, you have the neurodiverse children who that's the last thing they're thinking about. So do you have someone there helping them? I know you mentioned the nurses with medication, but do you have someone helping them like, hey, let's reapply some sunscreen. It's sunscreen break, everybody. Or, hey, everybody, it's time to, load up on that bug spray. We're going out in the woods. Do you have that?
Yes, our counselors go through significant training before campers even arrive at camp. And when they're going through their schedule and before every activity, there is a discuss. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we need. Closed-toed shoes, bug spray. The counselors have a backpack full of supplies as well. So for those that forget it. And one unique thing about our lodge rooms where our campers stay is there's a long dry erase board that every day the schedule will be on there. So for our neurodiverse kids who like routine and scheduling, it will trigger that based on a schedule. And so they will know what's coming up. And then if there is something that changes, they will also be able to see it first thing in the morning. So that will help transition their mind about what they need to prepare and bring with them. And our counselors are just so in tune they're kids. They are thinking about fun, not bug spray. So they're just in tune to reminders.
It sounds like fun. I have asked my son Lyric, who's 10 now, and he's come into a recent aha moment. Like, I can't explain it. He's having an aha moment. And I love when he gets those because I can tell he's going to the next level of maturity and whatnot. And I asked him, I said, are you ready to go away to a sleepaway camp? Because I would love for you to experience it. And he goes, I'm not ready yet, Mom. And I was like, okay. I was like, we'll ask next year because my whole goal is to get him down to Camp
Oh my gosh,
Southern
we'd love to have him.
Because it's one of the only few here in Georgia that offer a neurodiverse inclusion. I know Camp Focus does one during the summer, and it's like 3 days long, and they have lots of different camp counselors. But this is really an opportunity to go in with just a good melting pot of people and really step it up. You have to step it up at this camp.
Absolutely.
We do. When my son was younger, there was no inclusive camp. So to be here and see that neurodiverse children alongside military kids who are also have great challenges moving all the time and parents being deployed and underserved kids who frequently don't get the opportunity, it's creating a real life scenario because we are living in a diverse world. And that empathy that the children learn, and they don't look at it as you're different than me. It's like, wow, that's really cool about you. Here's what's cool about me. And so that inclusiveness is really special at camp.
you mentioned military families are part of this population that come. Are they coming from different states? Because I know that we have a lot of military bases here in Georgia, but are the children coming from, Alabama, Colorado, wherever they have military bases?
Yes, they come from across the country.
Wow, that's even better. You could have a kid from Colorado coming to Georgia saying, "This is the most awesome thing ever." And mom and dad are right up the road in Atlanta, probably having a little, little romantic getaway as their kids are in camp. I love that. Well, ladies, from Camp Southern Ground, I have Kimberly Walther, the Director of Development, and Kristen Dabson, the Marketing Director for Camp Southern Ground. It is a overnight camp down in Fayetteville, Georgia. And, everybody, of course, immediately thinks Zach Brown, because this was Zach's brainchild. So tell me a little bit about the history, about how this Camp Southern Ground even became a thing.
So Zach Brown, most people know him from Zach Brown Band, but he grew up going to camp in North Georgia. So he started as a camper and then became a counselor and on staff. And that's where he originally learned how to play a chord on his guitar. And that's where he kind of learned about what inclusion even means, right? I mean, it's just kind of a newer term, I think.
Sure.
And so so he knew that he thought, I'm here for more than just, I'm given this gift so that I can do more than just produce music, but that I can make a difference and like grow more good in the world is what we say. And then he's also a patriot. If you've been to his concert, you see like he always honors a veteran or a active military service member during Chicken Fried. And so when he started in 2011, started building out Camp Southern Ground, and then we started with mini camps, and then our first year of veteran programming was in 2019. So in non-summer months is when we serve veterans.
Does Zach ever make an appearance for the kids?
Occasionally, yes. So, slightly it depends on tour schedule.
Right. When his kids have gone, typically come to camp. The older ones, not as much, but for sure. The younger ones.
Right, the younger ones for sure, which is wonderful too. I love that. We have so many wonderful people here that are in Atlanta that are making a difference, homegrown musicians and actors and actresses, and they really, to start something like this, kudos to Zach, and kudos to you ladies for keeping it going and through all of your efforts as well. So where would families go to, one, check out everything that Camp Southern Ground has to offer, and then two, possibly look at that application and the tiered pricing and the scholarships?
Mm-hmm. Everything can be found at campsouthernground.org. So they'll be able to look at the different dates, different rates, different programming, just kind of about all of summer camp, and then of course everything else about Camp Southern Ground.
And are you on socials?
We are. So we're also on Instagram and Facebook at Camp Southern Ground.
At Camp Southern Ground. And then do you find that people will often, like your camps, because they're listed by week and things like that, are there more popular weeks because they're all basically the same, right? Your kid comes in June, he or she is gonna get the same experience as in July. But do they book out? Like, are they sold out? When should people apply? Is basically what I'm asking.
I say apply as soon as possible. We definitely do fill up. And we try to get, our goal is to have an equal amount of our different populations, right? So there's not 90% neurodiverse kids or 90%, neurotypical kids. We really like to have a nice blend, but yes, and we do fill up. So
how many campers can you have?
We can have 92 every week.
92 campers. So that is a good mix between 7 and you said 17?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wow. And give me a list of some activities that parents can, because no technology is allowed, right? You can't bring your cell phones or your, iPads or your switches with. So what are some of the wonderful activities that campers can take advantage of at Camp Southern Ground?
They get to explore our organic garden with our gardener and talk about the foods that provide energy for their bodies and fuel their bodies for all the activities that they want to do at camp. So it's an indirect way of talking about how to provide your body with good nutrition without giving the bad words, it's healthy for you, you should eat it. They get to work alongside. They will harvest food. They will then make like a salsa, for example. So they'll harvest all the vegetables, make salsa, and then that'll be served at lunch or dinner. So they're getting to experience it literally from the ground to the table, which I find is one of thing that they find fascinating, because many of these kids have never been to a farm. They don't understand where fruits and vegetables come from or how to, create it into a meal.
And we do have an executive chef who's amazing, and the food is absolutely delicious. Like the kids just, that's another favorite thing, I would say.
Yes. That is.
And the zip line and the aquatic center, and then the
zip
bikes.
Pump track. We have archery. They do a lot of outdoor other games.
Arts and crafts and music.
And music is the other big one that we do focus on.
And then do the kids, especially for the neurodiverse ones, do they get any downtime, or is it literally go, go, go from the time you're up to the time to keep them busy? Or do you give them like, hey, you know what, we're going to take an hour power and we're going to let you watch a movie, or we're going to have a quiet room or something where you can get away just for a minute?
Yeah, so actually all of our campers have downtime because we recognize that everybody needs it in the middle of a busy day. And when you're surrounded by, your tribe 24/7, everybody needs a little bit of quiet time. So we do have quiet reading time. They can swing in hammocks in the trees. They can go to their bunk. They can just sit on the park bench. So we do have a lot of that built in to everyone's schedule. And then, of course, if any of our neurodiverse campers do want to separate themselves further, our neurodiverse director has some spots on campus set up to kind of help with the desensitize and work on the sensory integration piece if they need it.
That's wonderful. What a great camp you guys are doing. I love the fact that you're being a force for good for especially the neurodiverse population, which is what I can speak from. Obviously, the underserved community every kid deserves to go to camp who wants to go to camp. And the fact that Camp Southern Ground is not only making it affordable for those who can't, also inclusive for those who deserve to get that experience like every other child does. Thank you, ladies, for being on the show. Kimberly Walther, the Director of Development at Camp Southern Ground. Kristen Dabson, the Marketing Director. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us.
And remember, you can grab their applications. You can see all things Camp Southern Ground at campsouthernground.org online, okay?
Yep, registration's open.
Registration's open for 2023. Get on it, doggone it, all right?
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
I don't know about you, but as a mom, I'm so excited that one day I can send Lyric to Camp Southern Ground down in Fayetteville, right? How wonderful is this camp? Not too many places offer an overnight experience for our types of kiddos. So to know that this one is out there, checks all the boxes. And again, to their credit, they continue to be a force for good. When it comes to camps, we all have to work in the summer, right? So think about vocational camps for a little bit of the older children. Think about those wonderful camps that our Focus family does. Those are day camps from like 10 to 3. You can look at that through their website, and you can find them on the Friends of GCAST page at gcast.com, GKASTS.com. And then, of course, you can look to Camp Southern Ground when your kid is finally ready to break free and you're ready to send them to an overnight camp. It sounds like this might be the place to hang up their hat and sing a campfire song, right? So exciting. Hey, listen, thanks for plugging into the show. Like, comment, share, subscribe. If there's somebody that I need to be talking to in the world of autism, I need to know it. So please reach out. You can do that in the comments below, or you can always get me at Gina, Gina, at GCAST, GKASTS.com. All right. And until next time, we'll see ya.